Hi, I'm Gene McLaughlin. I'd like to welcome you to Old Bridge Outlook with Mayor Owen Henry. On this program, the mayor has an opportunity to chat with you about things taking place in the township and to introduce you to some people making things happen in the township. Mayor, good to see you today.
Good to see you, Gene. How you doing?
Good, very well. Spring seems to be in the air.
Yes, a couple of nice days, a couple of snowflakes. The next day it's 70, so
the plows are away. The plows are away.
Believe it or not, the plows were on the other day. We didn't have to use them, thank God.
Yeah.
But we did throw some salt around. But it was when they first started forecasting, they were calling for up to 17 inches of snow.
I know that was.
And then it went down to nothing. Then the night before it went to 1 to 3 inches, and then that morning it was just a dusting. So
that was a plus. And now we're in.
Yes. Supposedly the warm air is here to stay. But
Good.
We'll see.
Good. I think we'll all welcome that. Yes. Thanks, Mayor. Mayor, if we can chat about a couple things since we met last. One is we saw the other night. The budget passed.
It was good.
Would you want to give us some highlights?
Well, it was a lot of work to put the budget together. Anybody who watched the council meeting, I urge them to go to the council to watch it.
Yes.
You'll see the whole budget presentation. We're not going to go through it now.
Right.
But anyone who watched it or anyone who was there saw the amount of work that went into it. I think we have a good budget in place here for 2016, despite some of the challenges we faced this year. The residents are, I think, well taken care of. We didn't reduce any services.
Right.
We didn't reduce any employees. We were able to hold the tax increase to a minimal, a $20 tax increase over the year municipal-wise. And what's good about that, Gene, if you look at the big picture with the energy aggregation program, I mean, 1 month savings is going to pay for what your taxes went up here in Old Bridge. But I think, and if you look at the big picture, again, when I came into office, the spending was $56.9 million to run this town. And those budgets prior to me coming to office were filled with flaws. They were filled with financial decisions that were not in anyone's best interest. And now here we are in 2016, 5 budget cycles later, and we're spending $54 million. Still spending less than when I came into office. And the budget is not filled with flaws. Our accountant was there, our auditor rather was there, and he said you can count the amount of towns in the state of New Jersey on one finger.
Really?
Who was in a position that Old Bridge is in with 2 bond upgrades in the last 2 years. We hear about it every day. Atlantic City shutting down for 3 weeks.
I saw that. Yeah.
Other towns that have raised taxes, drastically. Because they can't keep up with what's going on. Here we've proven that good, sound financial practices, good business decisions, we're able to work within under the 2% cap. We are showing that we can invest in our community. Again, another record year of investing back into the community with our capital budget that was also adopted right after the municipal budget, or I should say our capital plan.
Yes, sir.
With again, almost $4 million being invested back into the community. Financially, the town is in really very good shape. I believe we're below average when it comes to municipal property taxes in Old Bridge. Again, the average homeowner in Old Bridge is going to spend about $1,500, which is $100 and something per month for municipal taxes, which is a lot less than your phone bill, a lot less than your cable bill.
Oh, it sure is. It sure is.
I think the residents of Old Bridge are getting good value for their money. The services, like I said, have improved every year moving forward. And again, we're going to improve our services. We're improving our services and yet keeping a rein on spending. So I'm proud of the process that we went through, and we're going to be starting up soon.
I was going to say you'll be going back in the trenches again.
I have 3 more budgets minimum to put together, and each year we try to make it a more transparent process. We had the subcommittee meetings where every penny of every tax dollar is shown where it's going. Again, this year we've added an additional sub-accounts. It's just, and as a businessman, I really, I'm proud of what we've accomplished here.
Well, I think you should be, Mayor.
What I inherited and what we have now is 180 degrees, and I believe everybody in the state, including the financial institutions, agree with me.
And you have one big hump over. Now we're over that. Now you can move on. Huh?
Yes.
Okay, Mayor, one other thing I noticed was that Diane Amabile and the Senior Center received a nice honor recently, an accreditation by the National Institution of Senior Citizens.
Yeah, that was a big accomplishment for our Senior Center, which is near and dear to my heart.
Yes.
I go there almost on a daily basis to talk to our seniors. And Diane and her staff went through that process to get accredited, and it means a lot for the Senior Center itself. It means additional accessibility to grants. Obviously, It's talked about. There's not very many senior programs that are accredited. We believe we're the first one in Middlesex County.
First one in Middlesex, and only the fifth one in the state.
So
which is quite an achievement.
that's impressive.
Yes, it
when you
certainly
start
is.
talking about 500 and something communities,
Right.
and you're in the top 5,
it's a
and top
great
1
job.
in the county, what can you say about it? And any senior who wants to get involved, I urge them to come down here. It's an active, thriving center with programs and activities for everyone.
Well, good. We're going to try to get Diane over here if we
Yes,
can.
we'll get
if
Diane
we
to
can
talk
lure her
about
in,
it
if we
and
can
what
lure
they
her
had to
in.
go through to get that.
Right, that's
It
what we're
wasn't
gonna find.
easy. They just don't give them out.
No, I know, and that's what was so impressive about this. Mayor, thanks. Mayor, one of the other programs that we've talked about in the past on here is the recreation programs here in the
Yes.
township. What we're doing for the younger people. We have the seniors covered with Diane and the senior center, now the younger people. And to help us to talk about that today, coincidentally, folks, we are delighted to welcome in our guest today, Brianne McManus, who is the program supervisor in our Parks and Recreation Department. And Brianne, welcome. Good to have you with us.
Thanks for having me, Gene.
Well, if we can start off at the basics, Brianne, you've been around now, you were mentioning off the air, not quite a year.
Almost a year.
Okay, it went fast, didn't it, I bet?
Went very fast.
Tell us a little bit about your background. How does one get into the Parks and Recreation business? What's your training?
I started here actually part-time when I was 17 years old. So I worked all the way through the program, went off to college and did a lot of the programming over at college. Did a lot of student activities, planning dances, planning stuff like that. So on a lot smaller scale than we are here. And then I got called up by Lisa and Bo, and they're like, hey, we need some office help. Can you come in and help us?
Okay.
Since I had worked for the program for many years, came in and started helping with that, which then in turn led to me getting an interview and getting this job.
Do you have a background or training in recreation or in children's activities or?
Yeah, I have worked in childcare since I was 15 years old,
Right.
daycares, different home places and stuff like that. And then, like I said, just a lot of experience working here and then through college internships and things like that.
Okay, well, Brianne, I've looked at your brochure, and folks, there is a brochure. I'm going to talk a little bit more about it, but it's very ambitious program you've outlined here, Brianne. Would you be so kind to touch a little bit on some of the key programs and activities you're doing for the adults and the kids?
Well, we have a very, like you said, diverse group of things that we do. We run everything from Mommy and Me classes all the way up to programs for youth after school, weekends, weekend events, along with adult exercise classes and all of our special needs programs and all those kind of things.
What's the most popular one? You've talked about, and I saw in the catalog, the Mommy and Me program. What's that all about?
Our Mommy and Me programs are programs that come together and you and your child, whether it's a mom or a grandma, even we have had dads in the past that come in
Right.
and do different things with the kids. We have physical activities, so like playtime, music, instruments, to arts and crafts. So they make a craft that they get to bring home every week, whether it's a little birdhouse they're building, all the way up to we've had them do ceramics and things of that sort. And we also have cooking, so it introduces the children to being in the kitchen a little earlier. They bake very simple things, cupcakes and little like breakfasts, pancakes in the shape of Mickey Mouse, things
And
like
how
that.
old does this run up to, these programs with the younger people? How
Our
old are
Mommy
they?
and Me classes are for 2, 3, and 4-year-olds, so pretty
Okay.
much everybody who's not in kindergarten yet.
Okay, but you still get involved with the younger people with things like the ceramics and the candy making and dance classes
We
and
do.
things
We
like that
have
too, right?
classes for all school-age children. So we have, like you had mentioned, ceramics classes, cooking classes. We have now brought in a science program, so it goes
Really?
into the STEM program, which is the new educational program
Yes.
that Old Bridge is instituting. And it goes in and they do experiments every week, and every week they get to bring home an experiment.
It's
So
called
they'll-
the STEM. Excuse me for
STEM
interrupting.
is
STEM.
the science-based curriculum in
Okay.
Old Bridge now.
Does any of this tie into school curriculum at all?
I think everything that we do kind of has a little bit of a tie to what they're doing in school. We always try and relate things to things that the children are learning in school, because then they make that connection and it really sticks in their brains.
Okay, Mayor, I know you've been a participant in several of these recreation programs, huh? And just recently concluded the skating.
Yep.
I imagine. Now we see you out there. How's that been for you? How have you found the recreation program?
The recreation department as a whole has been very satisfying for me personally, because I've gone to so many events that they sponsor, and I've seen on a daily basis that the children and the parents who participate in these programs, and I think it's so important to have this within your community.
Right.
And that's part of the budget. You know, we spend
Yes,
quite a bit of
yeah,
money,
right.
funding our,
Yes, sir.
our parks and recreation. But to me, it's a big part of the community to have our parks, to have these programs for our youngsters and their parents. And I think it's just as much for the parents as it is for the kids.
Probably is, yeah.
To get involved, and it's socialization and picking up skills. You can't say enough about it. And as the mayor, I wanted to see it keep going and growing and growing and growing. As you mentioned, the skating was near and dear to my heart.
I know.
I was on my skates.
Right.
I have one more event I have to go to before the ice.
Before it melts, huh?
Before we let the ice melt.
Okay.
That'll be in April. But no, every function that I've attended has been very rewarding to me as a mayor, and I heard nothing but thank yous from people who participate in it. So it's important that more and more people participate.
Definitely.
Old Bridge is growing population-wise. Please go online, take a look at it, see if you see something that would, that you would like to participate in with your youngster. Me now, with having the 7-month-old in my house.
I was just going to
now,
say, you're getting
the
ready for
grandpa and me is going to be signing up
Yeah.
as soon as I possibly can, because I think it's important that we start exposing our children to good quality programs as young as we possibly can.
Well, Mayor, we've talked on here about, both ends of the spectrum, and I think it's being covered. We've discussed in the past taking care of the young people in the township and taking care of the senior citizens in the township.
We have 2 minutes talking about our senior program.
We've just
2 and 3-year-olds
taken advantage of everything here.
Yes.
Brianne, if we can get back to it, who's eligible to come to these programs?
We offer actually all of our programs to residents and non-residents of Old Bridge.
Really?
Yes. So obviously our residents would get first priority in registering for these programs, but if there's spots available and you have friends from out of town, anybody that would come in, we always welcome out-of-town people to all of our events.
How about popularity? If you had to rank them 1, 2, 3, 4, what's the hottest program for signups?
Our hottest program is definitely summer camp and our dance program.
Okay. I was going to ask you about the camp program. That was the next question you anticipated me. Tell us about the camp program. How does that work?
So the recreation department runs 2 camps. Our before and after care program really deals with our full day program, but our half day program is run by myself and the recreation department. It's a program that runs for 5 weeks for 4 hours a day. So it's great for those kids that are, the parents that are just looking to get their kids out of the house for a few hours a day, so they can get whatever they need to get done. And it's very inexpensive. We keep it as cost effective as possible. But all the kids come out with a great sense of friendship and family and just always have a great time.
And when you say camp, what do you mean by camp? Define camp. Do you have tents? Do you go someplace? Or is this a daily thing that's held on the
It's held at
township
different
grounds,
schools and different places throughout the town. We have 10 locations.
Really?
And they do arts and crafts. They play games, outdoor activities. We send them on trips 3 days a week.
Okay.
They go roller skating, ice skating, bowling, all different things, kind of just getting them out and getting them into the community. This year, we're also looking to bring in some community outreach programs. So we're going to be working with the food bank and doing some food drives for them and seeing what we can do to just help show these kids that helping our community is really where they should be spending their time.
That's very good. Mayor, that seems to be becoming more and more popular too, teaching children to give back.
Yes.
It seems to be increasingly popular.
And we see it all the time here in Old Bridge. I mean, it seems like almost on a daily basis we're getting a check for the food bank, for the animal shelter. And this is money being raised by our kids in our schools. And the summer camp, I go and I visit all the places that they have the camp, and the kids are just having a great time. Very impressed with the trips that are run by the recreational department, where they go. They take them to a lot of places that normally maybe your family wouldn't have the opportunity to go there because the parents are working. So it introduces, I think, a lot of people to activities that they might not be introduced to.
That's fantastic. If you'd hold your thought, Brianne, please. Folks, we're getting ready to take a break right now. We're talking with Brianne McManus, who is the program supervisor in our Parks and Rec department, and we'll be back in a moment to continue the discussion. Please stay with us.
When you're out there, there's no telling what you'll find.
I see it! Oh, look at you.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Your seat cushion can be used to grant wishes.
Who said that? Hello?
Really can, you know.
You talking to me?
Sure am. Because the airline miles you earn and donate to Make-A-Wish can help send thousands of kids on their wish trips. So donate to Make-A-Wish today.
You really should, you really should.
And give wishes wings. Because wishes work wonders.
Every child needs a place
where they can grow up healthy
and learn and be safe. In the Habitat House,
my parents helped build.
My parents, my mom and daddy. I study. I grow. I learn. I live. Your support can help put a decent roof over the heads of a family like mine.
Like mine.
Like mine. To learn how you can help, visit habitat.org.
Dad, we need to talk. If you're not gonna listen to me, who will you listen to?
Jeffrey!
Is that Marcia Gay Harden?
I think so.
You're getting older.
Not that old.
Your brain is changing.
That's what I was saying.
Honey, I've got experience with this. Jeffrey, brain health is all about making the most of your brain as you age.
Really?
Whoa! Where did she go?
Learn what you can do to help keep your brain healthy at brainhealth.gov.
The research here at St. Jude is very important. It gave my daughter a second chance at life.
We're developing tomorrow's cures today so that everyone around the world can benefit from those therapies.
La parte de investigación en el hospital es fundamental, porque si no hubiera eso, no habría ese porcentaje tan alto de supervivencia que dan.
Treatments invented at St. Jude have helped push the overall childhood cancer survival rate from 20% to more than 80% since it opened 50 years ago. And we won't stop until no child dies from cancer.
We are not just publishing a paper, but we're making changes to patient care.
Because we have donors that believe in what we're doing, we can really move our research forward much faster.
One life saved at St. Jude means thousands elsewhere.
Because of you. Gracias a ti.
Because of you.
There is St. Jude.
Folks, welcome back to Old Bridge Outlook with Mayor Owen Henry. Today we're talking with Brianne McManus, who is our program supervisor in the Parks and Rec Department. We've been having an ongoing discussion about some of the many activities that the department offers. And Brianne, if we can pick up where we left off, talking about some of the programs, could we touch on what you do for adults?
What we do for adults mainly is, right now, we're based morely towards exercise programs. We do a lot of trying to keep everybody physically fit and everybody in the best health they can so that they can strive for the rest of their lives.
Okay, so these are exercise programs trying to get people to lose weight, get their blood pressure in check, this type of thing?
Just keeping themselves healthy.
Okay. Overall, how many people are involved in the program? How many people register? You have a number?
I have to say it's over 1,000 people we have registered throughout the season and throughout the year for all of our programs.
1,000 1,000 participants. That blows my mind, Mayor. That's a lot of people.
And when you add, the library office programs and that school office programs, so there's a lot of things going on in Old Bridge. People need to take advantage of what is going on.
Yeah, definitely. That is a huge effort you people undertake. Eh? Okay. Would you talk a little bit about one of our special programs, help us out for the people who may not be aware of it, Brianne? That's Camp Robin, for the physically challenged people up in Guy Park. Would you touch on that a little bit, please, what you do for them and the activities they do?
Our Camp Robin program is a very large program yet again. They run three seasons out of the year, along with we have 3 Special Olympics teams now that go and compete at different Special Olympics events throughout the year. Pete Perro and his staff do an amazing job to make sure that these children and these adults feel like they are involved in the community and that they are able to do everything else that everybody does.
Are they still doing the special projects for the skating teams and that type of thing?
Right now we have 3, like I said, Special Olympics teams. We have a swimming team, a speed skating team, and they just started a track and field team that'll be competing in their first Special Olympics this year.
And you put the people up there, it's mostly at Camp Robin, the activities at Camp Robin?
Yes, the
at
Special
the building
Olympics teams are obviously done at the ice skating rink.
Yes.
The YMCA lets us use their pools for swimming, and the track is done over at Guy Park.
Okay, thank you. Brianne, 1,000 students, 1,000 participants, a lot of work. Who does all this work? Would you talk a little bit about the staff? I know you have a staff of paid people over there and you rely a lot on volunteers. Would you help us understand that, please?
Our staff puts in hours on hours to make everything run smoothly.
Yes.
Whether it's in the morning and they come in to just prep for their classes, or they're at night with our site supervisors, making sure that everybody's staying safe. We get volunteers everywhere from students, past participants in our programs. We have teachers from Old Bridge that work for us, along with just some adults from the community that have special skills that are just, they want to be able to share their skills with the young people of the community.
And they act as volunteers, I take it?
Yes, most of the time, but if they have degrees or certifications, we will hire them as instructors for our classes.
Do you have to train them particularly to participate in these kind of programs? despite their particular skills? Do you have to train them to be part of a program like yours?
Most of our instructors have their own certifications. When it comes to summer camp, we do train them. We put them through our insurance companies training for their leadership, and then also everybody is first aid, CPR, and AED certified in case of an emergency.
Yeah, I think, Mayor, we were up with Peter at Camp Robin, we saw the certification for first aid and for CPR and that type of thing.
All these programs,
right.
Gina, run as they should be, with the proper supervision in place, the proper safety measures being taken place. Accountability is big when we take all these kids on trips. We have to make sure everybody comes back with us.
I know, that's
so
important, yes.
It's a huge undertaking when you put it all together and see what exactly the task at hand is and how they do it, and sometimes you're amazed at how they do it.
I am amazed, frankly, from our participation in it. One thing, Mayor, you touched on briefly earlier, and that is the number of trips. Could you talk about the trips that kids take?
For summer camp?
Yeah, but generally.
We take them, like I said, it's normally about, I'd say, 15 to 20 trips for the whole summer.
Really?
Yeah, we try and do about 3 a week. We have community ties with the Woodbridge YMCA. We do roller skating and ice skating there.
Okay.
We've had ties with Middletown Swim Club, where we went swimming. We go bowling up at Majestic Lanes. They also go to Fun Time America, things like that, just things that gets them out. Our newest trip that we've now added on is Air Trampoline, which is over now in Aberdeen. And
say that again, Air Trampoline?
It's called Air Trampoline.
I got to try that, I think. What?
I think you do. I think you'll do great at it. It's an indoor trampoline park, so it's pretty much a big, huge gymnasium just full of trampolines.
Okay.
And they get to bounce around and literally bounce off the walls.
That literally gets the energy all milked out of them, too, so they go home tired.
And that's what the parents love.
Okay, I'm sure they do. One thing about the parents and the participants, do you ever get any suggestions from them for programs that they'd like to see implemented or introduced?
We do. We have people come in our office on a monthly, probably basis that are like, hey, my kid is looking to do this, and my kid's looking to do that. Is there any way you can help us? Once people give us suggestions, whether they're email or they come into our office, we investigate them and see if they're feasible for us to give to them at a reasonable price.
Do you pick up anything, or have you introduced anything that's been suggested?
We have. Recently, we've added an art class. So it's not just your typical arts and crafts class. It's more of an art class. They do canvas painting and sculpting, paper mache, all these kind of art forms that seem to be getting lost with all the digital technology out there these days.
I think it surely is. How about digital technology? Do you have any programs in computer skills, computer training, digital technology, Facebook, whatever?
Our rec program does not. Camp Robin does do computer skills for their disabled people, but for the actual recreation department, we don't. The library does offer a lot of stuff like that.
Anyone looking for that type program should go to the library's website. They have that idea form with the 3D printing and all types of programs that that would attract that kind of individual.
Okay, Brianne, we spent some time talking about the general registration process. Summer program will be coming up soon. What are the key dates involved?
Our key dates are the beginning of April. We'll be doing our release of our summer brochure. So that'll have all that information on summer camp, prices, locations, date range, all those things that needs to be known by our parents to register the children. And then registration will be coming up quickly. May 10th will be the start of summer camp registration. Make sure you're online and ready to go.
Okay, thank you, Brianne. And Mayor, I know you skated during the winter. What are you going to do during the summer?
I'd like to participate in as many events as I can. I'll get the schedule. I usually go to the parks when they're having the summer camp and talk to the kids and get involved and see what they're doing that day. And meet as many of them I can. I mean, that's my...
that's your goal,
Yeah, that's my goal, is meet future voters of Old Bridge as I can.
That's right.
And as I keep going all over town, it's the mayor, and there's a little kid saying, it's the mayor. Parents don't know who I am, but the kid does.
Okay.
And just, get involved. I go to the schools and see what's going on inside the buildings, because it's important that our kids stay active, and the parents know that they're at a place that's safe, they're supervised, and they're learning good things.
Okay. Brianne, as a newcomer, I'm sure you have some ambitions, you have some visions. Do you have a wish list, things you'd like to see, all things being equal? If you had the budget, if you had the time, if you had the staff, what would you like to introduce coming down the road?
I think my biggest thing that I'm going to start focusing on now is trying to be able to get our teens involved a little more. After 13, we have a lot of people that just leave our program, and we don't really know what they're doing, you know what I mean? And they kind of lose touch with the community. Obviously, they're in school and doing their school stuff. But we're looking, and I'm looking with my staff, to try and develop something for them. Whether it's just a forum of them telling us, hey, we want to go here this week, can we get it to happen? Or if it's going to be some kind of program that they can actually come and do something community service based or to help the community.
Is this something you could work with Karen to reach the Old Bridge Alliance, Teen Alliance on?
I definitely think I will. I think her ambassadors, her student ambassadors that she has with the high school are going to be a key and ample part of this because they have the connection to the students. And they're going to be able to do those surveys and give us the feedback that we need to get this program off the ground.
Anything else other than the teens, doing more for the teens? Any other types of programs, any other skill levels, any other sports, any other activities you'd like to introduce?
I think we need to start doing some more family events too. Our town, we do a bunch of family events every year, Old Bridge Day, Saltwater Day, our Halloween events, things like that. We are looking to bring back some, like maybe some family trips, outings at a low cost for those families that may not have a lot of money, that may not be able to take their kids on these big extensive trips. If we can cut the cost a little bit and make them more feasible for them, give the children the experience and the family the memories.
Okay, well, thank you, Brianne. I'll tell you, Mayor, I'm very impressed by what I see here.
You know why she got the job now.
I see why she has the job now.
She interviewed well, and she was hired. I can't believe it was almost a year already.
Yeah, I can't believe it's a year either.
It was a perfect fit. You know, a lot of experience.
A
lot of ambition. That's what it takes.
Yeah, it definitely does. And talking about the programs themselves, Brianne, if people are interested in participating, I know there's a lot of logistics, a lot of phone numbers, and a lot of places to sign up or sign on or go online. What do you want to tell us? Where do people check in? Where do they register, and any phone numbers to call? We'll put it on the screen.
They're on the Old Bridge website. They go on to Old Bridge and they just scroll down to the bottom and it says recreation registration. As soon as you click on that link, it brings you to our webpage and everything is on there. Our brochure, our catalogs, all their sign-in information.
Okay, how about phone number? How about somebody wants to reach you? Who do they call?
They can call the recreation department, so the Old Bridge number, and then my direct extension is 4020.
4020. Okay, one last thing you mentioned off the air. You've introduced a new program called E-Track. What is E-Track? It sounds very digital.
It is. It's our online registration system. We have had it for a few years now, but we finally now made it a giant combined program. So like I said, everything that they need to do for registration is going to be on that website. They can find our brochures. They can see our catalogs. Once they sign in, it's 3 clicks and they've registered for a program.
Can people still walk in the old-fashioned way?
Everybody can still walk in. The only thing with walking in is you have to have a check to sign up. You can't put it on your credit card, where you can online. But if they come into the office, hey, I don't know how to do this. Can you show me? Obviously, we're going to take the steps to try and show them to do it. But in the end, we'll still give them the registrations.
Okay, well, Brianne, I certainly want to thank you for coming by today. I think, Mayor, as you just said, I see why we have Brianne now.
You know, I can't emphasize enough, Gene, to get involved. Get involved. You know, you can do it on your commute on the bus now, on your phone. You could go there, look through that on your and see what maybe somebody in your family might be able to take advantage of, and then take advantage of these programs that are offered here in town.
Right, okay, thank you, Mayor. And folks, one last time, I just want to hold up this brochure that the Parks and Rec puts out. This is the brochure. It is available online. I printed this one out. You should look for it. This is what it looks like. And if you want to get it, you can get it online. And Brianne, again, thank you for coming in. Congratulations on a wonderful job and much luck going forward.
Thank you for having me,
It's been
Gene.
a delight having you with us. And Mayor, thank you.
Thank you, Gene.
It's good seeing you
Appreciate
again.
the opportunity.
No more snow. We're in good shape.
Well, people forget about, we have November and December of this year to
Well,
worry about. When it comes to
we got
snow.
a few months
It
on
didn't
that
snow
yet.
this well. We had one big snowstorm, but we have 2 months that we have to worry about.
That's true. We'll talk about that down the road.
Yeah.
Okay, Mayor. Thank you. And folks, this has been Old Bridge Outlook for this time with Mayor Owen Henry. I'm Gene McLaughlin. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next time. Take care.